Hello, I'm Tom Engstrom, Sierra Pacific Industries Wildlife and Botany Program Manager. SPI, as well as many other forest land owners, participates in the Sustainable Forestry Initiative, or SFI for short. SFI offers forest land owners a way to demonstrate their commitment to sustainably manage their forests to the public and to purchasers of wood products. There are other similar certification systems like the Forest Stewardship Council and the Tree Farm system. But today, I would like to introduce you to one of SFI's management objectives involving the conservation of biological diversity. The SFI assessment standard says landowners must have a program to locate and protect known sites of flora and fauna associated with viable occurrences of critically imperiled and imperiled species and communities in forests. Even though you may be working in forests which seem to be fairly ordinary day to day, there are rare species and natural communities which are uncommon or rare in California which merit protection. This is because California has a wide variety of soils, elevation, weather, and rainfall. For example, with over 6,000 native plant species, you can expect that some of them are very rare. As I give you more background, you'll see pictures of some rare species here in California. Generally, the registered professional forester who writes a timber harvesting plan will scope out these species and areas in the plan and make the plan around these animals, plants, or communities. As part of the regulatory THP review process, the California Environmental Quality Act says a project can't substantially reduce the numbers or restrict the range of a rare species. CEQA also says you can't threaten to eliminate a plant or animal community without an analysis. My main objective today is to introduce you to examples of plant or animal communities because even though a forester may identify these species or areas, your awareness of the concept of communities will help meet the SFI Conservation of Biological Diversity standard. First, who decides whether a natural community is critically imperiled or imperiled? Here in California, it's the State Department of Fish and Wildlife. The CDFW employs a rating system adopted by a non-governmental organization called NatureServe. NatureServe uses a number of individuals and the acreage involved to come up with ranks of G1 to G5. G1 is the most imperiled and G5 is the most secure. Under SFI guidelines, we need to give our attention to G1 and G2 communities. Well, just looking at CDFW's natural communities list, there are 57 pages of entries. And of course, not all are a G1 or a G2, but you can see there are many different combinations of communities. Here's one. It's a vegetation type containing California buckeye, poison oak, and a moss. But it's ranked G3. So which ones apply to forests? Here are several you may have heard of. Monterey pine stands, these are the native ones near Carmel. Torrey pine stands down by Del Mar in San Diego County. Or pygmy cypress stands near Fort Bragg. In commercial forests, we should look for species and communities shown in the next few shots. Baker cypress stands are found in just a few places. In the Sayad Valley area of Siskiyou County, they're found near serpentine soils. Goose Nest Mountain east of Wairika has an occurrence. Over near Bernie on the Tamarack Road and near Timbered Crater, Baker cypress are on or near rocky volcanic soils. In Plumas County, Wheeler Peak and Mud Lake have occurrences in the Red Fir region. Washoe pine is a fairly recently described species which was carved off of ponderosa pine. Not all botanists recognize it as a species or even a subspecies, yet it's included on the list, so we need to be aware of it. It is found on the east side of the Sierra and in the Warner Mountains. Think of areas like Mount Rose, the area from Hobart Mills to Boca, Lassen Park near Cinder Cone, lava beds, Last Chance Creek in Plumas County, and the Diamond Range northwest of the US 395 town of Milford. Golden chinkapin trees are found throughout Northern California, but I think of them growing mostly in Trinity, Del Norte, Humboldt, Mendocino, and Marin counties. They need to form a stand of at least a quarter acre and comprise over 50% of the canopy cover. If you are working on South Fork Mountain in Trinity County and along the Klamath River in Humboldt County, anywhere in Del Norte County or coastal Mendocino County, I would keep an eye out for these stands. In the Sierra Nevada, there are trees right around Blodgett Forest and Sand Mountain east of Georgetown. Vernal pools, bogs, and fens harbor a number of rare plant and animal species. Vernal pools, which in this photo is to the left of the rocks, generally have a clay layer which keeps winter rains contained until spring weather evaporates the water. Bogs are saturated soils without a natural outlet, which would be considered WLPZs. Fens are equally saturated, but water flows out of a fen. A Darlingtonia seep is a good example of this community. Naturally, plants which are adapted to these two types of water chemistry do best growing in these conditions. It is best to just stay out of these areas and avoid altering their hydrology. My informal advice is to avoid operations in these wet areas. Don't drive through them or unload equipment there, even though it might appear to be an open, flat spot. When a forester prepares a timber harvesting plan, information on rare plants or communities should be included in the responses to items 32 or 38. They will outline protections and procedures the forester expects you to carry out as you work on the plan. To summarize, G1 and G2 species and their communities are considered imperiled. SFI certification programs require protection of these species and areas. Your forester should identify these through the scoping process, searches for rare plants, and flagging these areas in the woods. Timber operators are another set of eyes on the ground to help protect these species and communities. Thanks for your attention.